sudden stop. I'm working on that today, I promise. Good morning, Service Alliance community. How y'all doing today?
Good morning out there. Good morning, Zach.
What's
It's been a while since I've been on with you, man.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
Kind of a treat. Get to be on the other side of the good morning.
Yeah, it's always good.
I don't know why I make that funny face when I imitate it. You don't look like that.
You're just goofy. You're just a goofy guy. It's all right.
Yeah.
We may or may not have Travis with us. We'll see. I was having all sorts of technical difficulty this morning. Still having a little technical difficulty.
Good morning, Jenny.
Morning.
Good to see you.
I'm glad I start early because if I started any later, we'd be really late.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Jenny's doing some, quietly doing some big things over there for Calvary.
Oh, here's Travis. Hey, buddy.
Morning.
Hey.
I'm a little technically challenged this morning.
I know. I was too. Like my Mac is like going back to Safari as my like normal web browser, and it won't work on SteamYard. So I'm like, no, go back to Chrome. It was like not let me log in.
Okay, so I got a Mac Pro, right? A new one of I bought one off of a brother because he was getting out of the Mac realm. So I got a steal of a deal, right? Not had any issues this morning. Nothing will connect. My audio thing won't connect, so I had no ears. The camera wouldn't turn on. Like it was like the FaceTime camera, and it's like you can't see anything with that. I might as well go on my phone. So one of those mornings.
What's up, Kyle?
It is.
Someone from Oklahoma. Good morning. Do us
Johnny
a favor.
Johnson.
Click the thing. Click the thing that says, "Hey, we're going live." I give Facebook permission to. We got 3 in a row. Click the thing, guys. There's a little description, the little like hyperlink that says, "I authorize StreamYard to see my information." That'll help us know who you are. We want to shout you out. We do.
One of them was Johnny Johnson, and being a Johnson myself, I always thought it'd be cool if my name was Johnny Johnson. Is it as cool as I think it would have been? I don't know.
Well, you know. Morning, Pinfish. Oh, Gaspar. What's up, my brother? What is up?
What's up?
We want to talk about a man working a plan and crushing it. Him and his wife are kicking butt and taking names, man. I love it.
Taking my place.
Love it.
Gaspar, what part of town are you in? I think he's Florida, right?
Yeah, he's straight across from David. They're like half an hour on opposite sides of the tip of Florida.
So I'm going to Florida in 2 weeks. Shout out to TMM Academics. I'm going down for sealed system training the 18th through the 22nd. If you're in that area, hit me up. We need to get dinner sometime.
Palm Beach Gardens. Yeah, so he's literally straight across from Appliance King.
Yeah.
Or half an hour away. They're on the same side. That's what he says. They're on the same side.
All right.
Cool. I just don't feel settled this morning. It's just like
everything.
One of those mornings. But it's a good topic for the day.
Yeah.
It is.
Topic of the week for me.
Yeah.
I don't even know what our topic is, but
it's a little bit of fear and a little bit of wherever the rabbit trail goes. You know how it goes. We start with one thing and then we end up somewhere else. Good morning, Chris. Good morning.
Well, you're getting a lot of action, man. I don't get this many people watching mine. People don't like me as much as they like you.
Nah, it's just
Zach is the best one.
Just the day. It's just the day. It's luck of the straws today. Well, you want to pray us in, buddy, since I haven't had you on?
Sure.
Hey.
Lord God, our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord. Lord, we thank you for the ability to wake up, breathe the new air for today. We thank you for the ability to come together in your name, Lord, that we have the freedom to do so. Lord, we thank you for this opportunity, the platform that you've given us that we can reach your people and spread positivity and love and encouragement throughout, and that we can show your love to your people, and they will in turn do the same to their people and their customers. Lord, we ask you to keep us safe, keep the trucks free of accidents, all of the workers out there free of illness and injury. Lord, we ask you to bless each and every interaction that it's just filled with positive vibes, Lord. We ask you to bless this message, this meeting today, that something good will come out of it, and that we would do only what you would have us to do and say, that it would reach somebody. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 So it's going to be somewhere in here, roughly somewhere in Acts 16:26, give or take. But I kind of wanted to start with this because this is like a freaking coffee cup verse that, everyone wants to beat a dead horse. Philippians 4:4. Rejoice in the Lord always. Doesn't it piss you off when someone quotes that to you when you're going through the middle of a storm? Rejoice in the Lord. I'm going to slap the snot out of you in the name of the Lord is what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's such an agitating. And taken in context, it's a great verse in context. But it's taken out of context so often. What
Yeah.
the heck does that have to do with Acts 16:26? Well, let's start with the verse. Suddenly there was a massive earthquake, and the prison was shaken to its foundations. All the doors immediately flew open, and the chains of every prisoner fell off. And digging a little deeper in, it goes and says the jailer woke up to see the prison doors wide open. He assumed the prisoners had escaped, so he drew his sword to kill himself. There's a lot of fear in that. I mean, a lot of fear in that. And Paul shouted, "Stop, don't kill yourself. We're all here." The jailer called for a light and ran into the dungeon and fell down trembling before Paul and Silas. He brought him out and said, "Sirs, what must I do to be saved?" They replied, "Believe in the Lord Jesus and you'll be saved along with everyone in your household." They shared the word with him and all who lived in the household. So in the middle of this, Paul and Silas, they're literally, we kind of talked about this a little bit the other day, but they're sitting there chained to each other and to, at some point, jailers. And they're sitting there singing and praising and having a good time. And God shows up and blows the doors off, blows the chains off, just blows them away, right? Okay, so that's great. What does that have to do with anything? Are you praising God? Are you celebrating the good stuff because of the good stuff? Or are you celebrating because of who God is? Or, to be positive if you're not a believer? Like, are you just like, when it's good, you're like, hey, yeah, good. When it's bad, you're like, oh, bad. Right? Like, are you letting your emotions drive you? Or are you letting something greater drive you? And that's kind of where we're going today with the fear thing, right? Like, listen, we are in a recession. Whether anyone admits it or not, we are in recession. And this is a time where you can be afraid or you can let something greater drive to you. And with that, I'm going to open up the floor, just kind of where I'm coming from today. And I see those faces over there, EJ. What's on your mind, buddy?
Oh, I've got a lot more to say. You want to go first, Travis?
Sure. I mean, really, the recession doesn't fear me, on certain amount of stuff. I don't choose to live my life in fear anyways. I'm more go with the flow. There's a purpose and everything's always going to be all right. And if I have to pick up an extra day to run service to, I don't know, make my technicians payroll or whatever it may be, then so be it. Like at least I have my business, my family's getting taken care of, you know, big deal on that side of things. My concern more that's always, kind of concerned me more is part availability. Seeing that China is still locked down, it's like, what is our part availability going to be in 6 months? Like it could be, you can't sell anything if there's no part that you can repair the unit, So that's the only thing that like that I keep my eye on is just availability. Am I starting to get more, looking at more exploded views and seeing more parts that are just on back order? But that's not the case right now, and everything is pretty decent, minus some control boards on availability. But that's, I never let fear control my life, but that's like my outlook. I'm always a happy person. I always look at the positive on things. That's how I'm hardwired. If I look at the negative things, that just drive me crazy. But that's me personally.
How are your customers dealing with it? Because I was talking, I don't know, I probably talked to a dozen brothers this week that are just they're not in a good place, which is where this topic came from. And it's more the customers than anything that they're working through. Like they have customers, whether they're positive or not, they have customers who have a very very bleak outlook at the moment, and that's kind of driving some things.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really noticed it here in the Denver market. And whenever the 2008 stuff was going on, Austin, whenever I lived in Austin, Austin was doing really great. Um, the one feature that I can't wait to hurry up and come out is Visa, and then also Apple too. They're going to have, like the pay later option that we're going to be able to set up through our merchant services, which I think will help a lot of customers because they can split it up in 4 payments. So whenever Visa goes ahead and launches that, I think that'll be super beneficial just for those customers that are in a little bit of a crunch, that they can split those payments up. And that might be something like a business model, which I've done in the past on some customers, that are like, I'm real tight. And it's like, oh, well, can you just pay half now and then, pay the second half in 30 days? I've done that with certain customers. You might have to be a little bit more open-minded to that, and but at least at half down, we'll normally pay for the parts. So you're really not out, you're helping someone, that was in need. So you feel, you're doing the right thing, and then you just wait for your second half of your profit and all of that, and whatever day makes sense for them. I've done that plenty of times, but I think the Visa thing that'll come out, and I heard Apple's going to be doing the same exact thing on the new iOS 16 platform. So that'll be an awesome, tool for us businesses to be able to use if customers can, split that up. That might help out on those borderline customers that would normally pay 80, your diagnostic fee, and then maybe come back 2 weeks later and say, hey, let's get the job done. Maybe they'll be able to get it up, done up front.
Right. What do you got going, EJ? What's those wheels are turning, buddy?
I'm on a completely different wavelength than Travis right now. But I don't know. I'm generally like Travis, where I think positive. I don't worry too much about the things that I can't change. Like gas prices, taxes. I don't worry so much about taxes. They suck. Okay, you got to pay them. We can't change it as much as we argue and talk about. If we get the best points, and we can talk about all the things they tax us on, I can't change it. Mm-hmm. I can vote, okay, but I can't change it. So why worry about it? I can't fix part availability. Okay, that's fine. What I stress about, and it's what we were talking about, is I'm talking about as a relatively new small business owner with employees, and the day in and day out grind. Me and Zach did a podcast last year, early on, So you think you want to be a business owner?
That was a good one.
That's one of my favorites, and we could do that one all over again with new experiences, right? Both of us, good and bad, from both sides. It's not easy. Some of us make it look easy, maybe, and even the ones that make it look easy, when you talk to them and they really tell the truth, which is what I'm doing today, it's hard. It's heavy. It's not a walk in the park, but when you're winning, it's awesome. It's so much fun, and getting through the challenges is fun. The challenge is exciting to me, but then there's some of them where it's just like I just can't get past this. And right now I'm in that zone for the last couple of weeks. Like there's struggles and concerns, and I haven't quite figured out what it is and how to get past it. But it's heavy, and I'll tell you, if you think you're ready to hire people, it's there's a little chat going on in the group here. We're not sharing live because it's not relevant to this, but really think about that. It's great. I love it. I have 3 great techs that work for me. Love them. I can't advise you to find them the same way I found them, but God, I believe, has blessed me in that area. But it's heavy and what I mean by that is when you're a one-man show, you're just worried about your livelihood, your family. That's heavy by itself. If you're out there being the sole provider for your family and you've got mouths to feed. But if you got employees and you don't take it seriously that those families also depend on you, then you're doing it wrong and you need to check yourself. If you think you're ready to hire people and worst case scenario is you send them packing, you might need to think about if you're okay with that because you're bringing other people's lives into it. And I recently hired my newest guy like 3 weeks ago, and the pressure's on, right? I'm responsible for bringing enough work to the table that our business will make enough income to pay for all of their wages and keep the doors open. Now, we're not in jeopardy of closing, but I take it seriously. And I may put more pressure on myself than I need to, but it's real. And those of you that's doing it with several people, you must have figured something out.
Or you didn't. I mean, let's be honest, because okay, of the 3 of us up here, I'm the more negative one, right? And I had 6 technicians at one point in time. Yeah. And where you guys let the positivity drive you, I let the fear drive me. So let's look at the other side of that coin. What does that look like when you're driven by fear? If fear is basing every decision, you'll never move forward. You'll always move backwards. Right? Yeah. And I know there's a lot of guys out there going through this right now. And that's why I'm always willing to be open with that side of things, right? If you let fear drive you, you're not going to last long. Either health-wise, right? Because that just kills your health. Like, oh my gosh, the person I was 6 years ago is just like totally different than the guy now. Yeah. Sometimes you feel like you're only working so people have a paycheck. Yeah.
I'm trying. I try not to focus on that, and that's where I've been the last week or two. It's like that's not why I'm doing it, but it's there. People that's watched me and my growth, it's unreal, and the only way I can explain it is God and a group effort with the people of the Alliance group that have helped and guided me, and God making the way. Yeah, that's why we're talking about it, brother. So it's
it is
my
hard when
growth. Go ahead.
I said it is hard whenever you're in a spot where you're trying to grow your business and you keep having the thought in the back of your mind saying like, man, I'm trying to add a technician to be more profitable, but it doesn't always align in those steps where you add one technician, okay, your profits are going to go up. You add another technician, it's going to go up. Sometimes you'll see the whole picture when payroll goes out of your account and stuff. It's like, well, geez, I feel like I was doing better solo than I am with 3 or 4 technicians, and I didn't have to deal with the headaches. I didn't have to worry about trucks breaking down and all of that. And it's almost that one spot that you and I are both in, EJ, where our company, our technicians aren't we're not large enough yet. You know, if we put on another 4 or 5 more technicians, then that gives the room for more growth where we can have some lead technicians that are doing a phenomenal job. We'll pay for those up and coming technicians that are really not being super profitable in the business, but you're having to kind of baby into being profitable in the business. And it's a mindset that you just have to fight against to kind of like break through. And I've been there, you know, on my Denver, you know, business, and I'm growing up, and I was completely in that spot in Austin whenever I had to shut things down because it was like, man, I had so many technicians and we weren't making any money, and I had all my eggs in one basket on revenue coming in, which was extremely stressful. That's why people, if you're a business owner, get as many streams of avenues of incoming calls that can come in different directions to help, where if one slows down, the other one might be busier, and you're not just stressing out saying, I'm only doing American Home Shield or whatever the case may be, and they're slow right now. And you're just stressing yourself out.
Yeah, to
Have
that
every
point, you
option.
have to be ready to turn them on and off. You have to be ready to
Yeah,
turn them on and off and be okay with turning them on and off, right?
Well, what he's
yeah,
saying is if you've got all of your eggs in the warranty basket and only with one warranty company, your leads are
Yeah,
only coming in from one place, turning them on and off.
totally
You have to
agree.
have something else to turn on.
No, I
Yeah, yeah.
totally agree. I'm good with having 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different warranty if you can find ones that work, right? Plus
But,
COD and what. Yeah,
amen.
yeah.
just be
And
willing to turn them on and off. Don't let them drive and dictate your business. I spent a ton of time talking with James about it. I've been in that situation, and much like he's describing, we had one account, Nicor Home Solutions, that then turned into Pivotal and everything else. And if you ever get James started on that, you'll hear a lot of negative. But I mean, it almost killed our business, and then it did end up, just being like one of the final nails in the coffin for us. But what Travis was saying, you guys are in that messy middle. You
Yeah,
guys are in that messy middle where you're just like on the verge of that breakthrough to
yeah.
that level that you need to be to scale to the next step. And that's where the mindset, like Paul is sharing here, that's why I've left this quote up so long. Don't let fear stop you. Let the dreams drive you. If your mindset is wrong, and that's what I was going into, is that my mindset was wrong. I was being driven by the fear instead of being driven by the dreams. Where the two you guys are being driven by the dream, right? And that's what allows you to continue and to be propelled. And so if you're out there and you're being driven by the fears, guys, it's a hard mindset to break. It really is. But start small. Start with something
Yeah.
like, I got a gratitude journal. I literally every day I'm writing 5 things that I'm grateful for, and it helps to change my mindset. Start there, start small. Do something little like that to begin to change that mindset to move
Mhm.
towards that positivity for sure.
Well,
yeah, my man.
we got
Yeah,
a topic that me and Doug are going to be talking about on Monday, so I don't want to steal too much of the thunder, but we're going to talk about balancing the seasons, season for everything. Okay, and that's kind of where I feel like me and Travis are, from what he's sharing, is the dream drives us. Like my growth has been so quick, and the dreams are actualizing fast, and it's starting to move a little fast. faster than I'm ready for, but then slow enough that I'm not quite ready for. And this is what I want to hit with Andrew's comment, and it's kind of where I'm at. Uh, Andrew says, "Would you suggest focusing on quantity or quality of workflow when it comes down to it?" And my answer is it's kind of an on and off thing as well. As you're growing, if you're just one man show, if you're getting enough work, then yeah, focus on the quality. If you're getting enough work and more than you can handle, if you're growing as and what I mean by growing in size and tech size for like me and Travis. Right now, I'm focusing on quantity, but I'm trying to keep a good balance of quality. Right, I want quality jobs that make sense for me to go to. And we've talked about this, right? We've talked about the controversial topic: do you work on dishwashers or microwaves when you're busy? Uh, you know what I did just last week? I put in my notes that uh, dishwashers and microwaves were 2 weeks out. I'm not saying no, but we're prioritizing certain calls, and we're saying if you want to wait 2 weeks, we'll put you on the schedule. Every one of them that comes in. I'm not saying no dishwashers or microwave. They're not quality calls for me right now. It's the heat of the summer. We've got refrigerators down. Refrigerators are paying, and they're important. They help people more. Now, you can argue, or the people, to some people, their dishwasher is very important. Okay. Yes. But quality and quantity, I'm balancing that act. When I first started, quantity was the only thing that mattered to me. I need calls. Every call that comes in is a good call. As I started to grow and get busier, I started to get picky about where I went, what I wanted to work on, what kind of things. So it really is a balance to me. And as I grow, like where I've added a tech, I'm leaning a little more heavily on quantity while maintaining some quality. But then before that, before I hired the next guy, it was more focused on quality because we had way more than we could handle. You know, we ended up 3 and 4 days out and losing people because they didn't want to wait. What are your thoughts, Travis?
That is kind of just like the avenue stream of calls coming in that, I was suggesting, that's something that you kind of have turned off right now, that, that, hey, if you need a bump in calls, you can add that. I'm the same exact way. I know people even hate lead gens and stuff like that. It's not bad to be signed up with them and not use them until you actually need them. That's just being a good business owner and making sure that you're taking care of your technicians, that it's not going to get to slow time where they're not getting their hours in. So I completely agree. That's being a fantastic business owner. That's where I went wrong the first go around. And that's what on my, on this business, I want as many areas open or closed, just so I know, hey, I can feel comfortable. If I'm bringing a technician on, I'm going to have enough work for him. I'm not going to ever bring a technician on where it's like, oh, well, it's going to be the slow time of the year. I'm probably going to have to get rid of you, or you're going to have no hours. Like, no, I'm going to bring someone on. You're going to be busy, every day out of the year. There's not going to be a slow time, and we can still throttle stuff, where you can, change for more quantity calls. Everyone's going to do that. Why wouldn't you? You're going to want to make your business as profitable as possible. So I'm right there with you, EJ, on that. It's exactly how I'm running my business too. I'm looking to hire another technician because I have 2 right now, but I have one that I'm wanting to work on, a little bit more before I feel comfortable taking on another task of another technician, not being that I don't have the work, but I just want him to be up to a certain standard where he was fantastic. And now I'm just seeing a couple weeks where he's kind of taken really, really long on like his days, his route. He's like getting like 4 calls done and it's like 3:00 in the afternoon. I'm like, holy crap, you need to at least hit 7, in the day. So I'm kind of putting a pause, like, hey, my attention needs to be to him first before I can jump to add another technician, and having two that I'm having to sit there and fully take up my time, it'd just be too much on me. I've ran into that issue growing too fast, and you're just hiring because you have the workload, and you're not really, taking in, consumption of, like, can my business physically grow and give a good product, and also your time as a business owner. Because personally, I love running service. I don't think I really ever want to like fully be out of the service realm, because I love running and speaking to customers, and I feel like that gives me a really good pulse on my company and customers out there on me running service. And that's something right now I don't think I'll ever want to get rid of. When I had all my technicians in Texas, I was still running, 3 or 4 days of service, still, because I just hired more office staff to overlook stuff, or not overlook stuff, but just manage things that I would normally do. Um, but what do you think, EJ, and your plans and stuff like that? Is your goal to be out of the service realm and just sit back and manage everyone, or would you want to still be like both, where you're still running service?
Tell you what, it's depends on how long term you're looking, right? Uh,
Yeah.
my ultimate goal is to be Jay Michigan when I grow up. Uh, until then, I want to be Doug Shear when I grow up. But I like doing the service. I really like it. I've learned in this experience that as much as I like fixing stuff, I like building a business. And as I shared in the first 10 minutes, how stressful and heavy it is sometimes. Man, is it the most rewarding job I've ever had, because those people depend on it, and it's like I'm helping my customers and my team at the same time. So, I mean, in the near future, yeah, I want to keep running service. Another 5 years or so. Beyond that, I'd like to be to the point where I can run service when I want to or need to, uh, but I'd like to be grooming a manager to be doing that and maybe managing myself. So I mean, I'm in that middle point, which I've been a tech my whole life, not an appliance tech, but I've been a tech my whole life, and I'm finally fixing stuff for customers that appreciate it. Because I've been a factory maintenance tech. It's like it's a very thankless job. They need you right now, and they don't care how good the quality is. Just fix it right now, and that's it. Your thanks is they don't call you for a little while, and this is different. So there's things I love and don't love about all of it.
There's a lot
What?
buried in what you guys both said, and I want to share a story real quick that kind of will bring this to the surface, and I want to talk about it because this is a natural state for the two of you, and you guys both kind of glossed over it. Is not a natural state for everyone that's out there. So there's a coffee house called Ebenezer's in Washington D.C., and it was a crack house that got turned into a coffee shop for the glory. Um, and so Redeeming Grounds is a coffee roaster in Colombia that takes farmland that was used to produce cocaine and now produces coffee. Okay. And so now, a decade later, the crack house turned into a coffee house. Our dream was coffee with a cause giveaway every penny of profit to kingdom causes. We didn't know that our dream would help fulfill the dream of coffee farmers in Colombia. Redeeming Grounds isn't just one of the roasters, they're the middleman between our dream and the dream of courageous coffee farmers in Colombia. The face of those farmers that Santee first met over breakfast now graces every bag of Redeeming Grounds coffee sold at Ebenezer's Coffee House. And this is the point that I'm driving to that you guys kind of glossed over. Whether you're aware of it or not, your dream is contingent upon someone else having the courage to pursue his or her dream. And someone else's dream is contingent upon you pursuing yours. The two of you guys naturally are pursuing your dream, knowing that someone else is going to be blessed by that. Like, you just do it naturally. Other people are able to dream because of what you're doing. So if you're out there struggling right now, if you're out there in fear right now, if you're out there going, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know if I can push through the season, these two guys right here are an example of that. Dream for someone else. Pursue your dream. To EJ's point, like he's got to start dreaming even bigger and even further, and even because it's catching up. Where he's at is catching up to where his dreams are. So he needs to start dream casting even further down the road, to kind of get ahead of that ball. And I have a feeling, Travis, that you're kind of in the same way. You didn't hit on it too much, but really, your dreams are allowing the dreams of others to happen, and you two just do it naturally. So if it's not natural to you, this is the outcome of that happening.
Yeah, I mean, another mindset that I have like on my business is, for my family, it's almost like a second insurance policy. I want to grow my business to where it can run on its own. If anything does happen, not much. I don't want really anything to change in my family's life, like have a business set up and have all the core, finished. So if I can't finish it, my wife can, and nothing changes in their life, is my main goal. When things get hard, it's like I always kind of think back, like that is really like my root of why I want to grow my business, instead of just having anyone could just have a business to have it, and if they're done, then it closes down. I want to make it, self-sustainable, to where I can pass this on to my kids, or if anything happens, then I know my family is set up, just fine, and this business can survive.
That's good stuff. Chris made a comment earlier about, it ties into this because part of it is filling the gaps, right? And keeping things rolling, the diversification. And he mentioned that we should diversify our business, and if you're relying strictly on service, maybe branch out. He uses used appliance sales, installs on built-in units. He says he's even installed toilets, faucets, ceiling fans. See, I used to do some of that stuff while I was growing. Never toilets. I pay somebody to install my toilet. But Johnny Johnson says he repaired cell phones and stuff, and hired a cell phone technician. These are things that you got to think of. Whatever industry you're in, you need to be thinking of multiple ways to bring money. Now I'm not saying, hey, try all these things, because you can get a little diluted, and you lose quality when you focus on too many things. But if you can find a few different sources, that's fine. We've got a couple guys. I think Paul and Alex do swimming pools. Of course, they live in the South. Might not be much work for that in the North, or even where I'm at. But that's another option. That's something somebody else can do. A lot of appliance guys will also do dryer vent cleaning. It's closely related, right? But
or HVAC, as Travis is wearing a train shirt right now.
That's what I was going to bring up is HVAC. I mean, because HVAC is pretty similar, and honestly, I feel like doing residential HVAC is easier per se than doing appliances, just because a furnace is a furnace, a condenser is a condenser. They really don't change
about
between
20
low and high.
total parts in stock for your HVAC service?
Yeah, and everything. What I like about it is everything's in stock locally. So if you don't have it on your truck, you can go down to the local supplier, and there's a lot of them. Every brand has their own supplier. You're bound to be able to get a condenser fan motor. It's something that I've had a buddy in Austin. He just found a guy that he was closing down his business. He wanted to retire, but he still had his HVAC license, and he is basically put him on payroll and is using his license to open up the HVAC side of things, which is a smart move. HVAC is more seasonal, when it's really, really hot or really, really cold is when you're at the busiest, but it's good that when you're bringing on technicians and stuff like that, hey, you could do appliances that's busy all year round, and then you can kind of slow appliances down while you're getting more HVAC calls. And there's phenomenal money to be made in doing HVAC. I love it. I do a system sale, it'll take me about 5 to 6 hours normally to do a full install, and you're making at least 5 to 6 grand profit off of that one job that you sell. So
this is a good topic because there's a lot of appliance people and HVAC people alike that ain't considering this option. And I'd be interested to know, do you think there's more appliance businesses doing HVAC or more HVAC businesses also doing appliances? So that is, since we're talking to everybody, we're probably got more appliance viewers than anything, but if you're doing HVAC, why not do some appliances in the summertime or in the wintertime? You don't have time for summer, right?
One of our local HVAC companies just purchased a appliance business that was closing. My only thing with it is, and Travis, I know you, so I know that this is not the case, but a friend of mine, Cassie Pound down in Oklahoma, posted this the other day. They've built their business as such that they don't have to worry about laying their team off. They will always have work for the team that they have. So that's one of those moments where you don't want to scale that type of business because it is so seasonal without having some other type of stream, whether it's plumbing or appliances or whatever. You have to make sure that team is always taken care of, because if you're in that position, and this is very prevalent in the HVAC industry, they will lay guys off and just wreck people's lives because they don't have the systems in place to handle when it gets slow. So just approach that one consciously. Again, that's why I like the way that Travis does it. I'm not, this is not an attack on Travis. This is just, I've seen it so many times, having so many friends in the industry that they've shared it. It's just, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
Don't be this guy. This guy's friend. Don't be this guy's friend. I mean, he's probably a good, don't be that friend. He says a friend of his does HVAC and refuses appliances because he went to Lincoln Tech and feels like he's above appliance repair. Well, there you go.
That's silly, but I feel like mainly probably his mindset on it though, and that's why you don't see a lot of HVAC companies doing appliances. You see a lot of appliance companies also doing HVAC, and they're normally smaller companies like us that can, because the owner operator is able to run those calls. It's kind of like in the appliance industry, people don't like to do factory warranty because it's almost like pennies. If you're going from these major sales of $10,000-$20,000 jobs, why would you want to go run a $500-$600 refrigerator call, which is for an appliance company? Hey, those are the gravy jobs. I'll do sealed system or a $500-$700 ice maker is great money. But to HVAC companies, they just think that that's pennies, and that's all that it really, that's really where it lies in. Is it's just
ask any HVAC guy that does appliances also.
Yeah, it is. It is harder.
1,000%. 1,000%.
Yeah.
For all the reasons,
it takes you longer to be a good appliance tech.
It does. And Justin Gandy just got into HVAC last year, He hired a guy that does HVAC and runs that side of the business. And Justin's been learning it. And he was just sharing with me last night that it's way easier. The parts are unbelievably uh, obtainable, and they're mostly interchangeable. There's only a few different problems it can be. I mean, it's for us. It's kind of like working on a dryer. It's like three different things it can be, uh, and we have most of the parts. So why not do it? But they license it so heavily. Like in my state, I don't believe you can be an HVAC contractor unless you have a journeyman, master, and contractor license. Uh, you can't do any of it. So I mean, I can't just jump into HVAC. You know, I can maybe
You
do furnaces.
Well, you could find someone with a license that either, like Travis was sharing, isn't doing it. Honestly, like having done some of the commercial systems and stuff like that, like I, I love the residential. I've changed capacitors. I've helped people figure out that their fan motor is bad or their capacitor, whatever. The hardest part, honestly, and I think in all of residential HVAC anyway, is the install of ducting.
Yeah.
And I only say that because I've been along with some guys that just like blew my mind with what they do. That was the hardest part of it. Everything else was like, oh yeah, okay, well I can slam in a condenser, I can slam in the actual furnace unit or whatever. But the actual duct run, that took some math, that took some calculation. That was honestly probably the hardest part. And I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just that was probably the hardest part in my journeyman experience through there, my apprentice
And let's
experience through that.
And
let's quickly
that's
clarify
only
real
in
quick.
certain parts.
Let's quickly clarify this first. The people that think HVAC is easy that are doing appliance repair also do sealed systems for appliances.
Yeah.
Not every appliance repair tech is going to think this is super easy.
Right.
But once you learn how to do a compressor on an LG refrigerator, Travis, correct us if we're wrong. It's a little easier.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a lot easier. There's a little bit more into the refrigeration portion on how to diagnose whether you have a bad TXV. You can have an iced up coil. Young technicians are like, oh, it's low on charge. They don't think, hey, well, let me go check the air filter to see if the air filter is plugged up, because an airflow issue will cause a coil to freeze over, and sometimes they
Always
just
the
immediately
TXV.
jump to.
It's always the
that's the joke.
TXV. Don't you know it's always the TXV?
Yeah, always, unless it's piston driven, and they're really confused on those units because those are older.
Still got to be the TXV. It's still got to be the TXV. No, yeah. We're not trying to belittle. Honestly, like we have an understanding of how these systems work, and so
we just saying keep an open mind.
Right. Yeah. Approach
take
what we're saying with a grain of salt.
With like the duct work too, that's only in like certain parts of the country, because I know what you're probably talking about is all metal duct work, which everything is metal here in Colorado. Also, everything in Texas, and I know in Florida, really the South, it's all duct board and flex duct, which is like the dumb version of everything. You just cut it to size. You're not having to run metal and all of that. It's way easier. So depending on your country, or this, where you are in the country, the duct work might not even be hard because it's flex duct and duct board. You can't mess up on it. It's like a little bit of tin tape and you're fixed.
Yeah, I love when people are like, oh, well, the ductwork is easy. And I'm like, do you know the load balance that we had to go through, like, to get to this point to figure out the right, like, no, it's not, but yeah, to your point, that is a perfect point, that in the South, you can get away with ductboard and you can get away with some of these other things, that are a little easier. So.
One thing that I wanted to talk about too, that people may struggle with, I know, is just being stuck in where your day just seems like the exact same every single day. And a lot of it is your landscape of where your service area is, that you're just driving the same roads all day, every day. I know the biggest thing that like really helped me out was moving to Colorado and having different scenery rather than the same old roads. And how are you guys comping with that? Like, I know vacations definitely help, especially extended vacations, or if you open up, say, another branch and you can spend a week or two just a different area. Um, have you guys ever felt that effect where, just because you're driving the same route, essentially, just gets really boring and kind of mindless?
Change of pace, change the scenery. I shared that the other day. Like nothing but like take that vacation getaway. We spent 4 days out at the trailer where, I could go on, I could do my client support, I could have conversations, I could do the posting I had to do at the business center, and then the rest of the day you could not get a hold of me because there was no cell phone service, and I was out by, I'm running 5 miles around a lake, right? And it's beautiful and the birds are chirping and, like, yeah, change of pace, change of place, even if it's a week or 2 weeks or whatever, just to get away, do that, right? Go to a different, like for me, I shared the other day, I think it was with Andrew that, I went down to Tennessee and I visited with, JT and Dr. Dan, and it was for me, it was like recharging for my soul a year ago to go down there and just see a different pace. I rolled along with JT on a couple service calls just because I wanted to see like how he handled it and just like have a conversation with my friend and kind of be in a different space. And it was,
Yeah.
I it was
Highly.
TK that goes like, "Wait, you're working on vacation?" And I was like, "No, it's just like, fun to go and hang out with my buddy,
Yeah, at that point, you're just hanging out.
Yeah.
I got the same thing out of coming up and seeing you. And I know as soon as I got there, you put me straight to work, riding along, and it was fun.
You asked for it. You
The
asked for
part
it.
the part that wasn't cool was you didn't let me eat all day. But yeah, I do agree with that. Just doing something different, even if it's not a vacation or a ride along with somebody else, is like, uh, for me, I got my new tech and I put him in the truck with one of the guys. It gives you a different purpose for that time period. Hey, I'm training somebody today, and it's a little different mentality. It kind of takes your mind off of the stress of what you're doing, and here you're doing this now, and sometimes I'll ride with them or give them a day at the house working on training or something. I'm really looking forward to my trip to Florida because I'm going to take it as kind of like Phil does the Phil's Dead Day. I'm just saying, hey, I'm out. This guy's in charge. Let me know if you need anything. I'm not dead, but it's kind of a test too. Like, not a test on them, but does it work when I walk away for a week? And it's kind of controlled. Like, it's a situation where I'll have a phone signal, and if they really need me, they can get me. But try to make some decisions and see, and it'll change my focus. I know when we went to ASTI, I've shared this several times, but that was my first real chance to do that with a team, and they kept everything running. I only got 2 phone calls, and both of them were my fault. One, I put a part somewhere that it wasn't supposed to be. I didn't put it in the right place so they would know where to find it. That kind of stuff. But I came back and I found some holes, and it gave me opportunities to work on those. And that gave me another purpose. Here's something I need to fix. So I'm looking forward to that. Like, I'm going to find some more holes. I'm going to come back and there's going to be some messes, and it'll just show me where I need to improve. And it's like right now, I don't know what I need to fix. I just know something needs to happen. And maybe that's where it'll be. Gasper, you're going to TMM too? Shoot, he just messaged me on Messenger. That didn't pop up on here. Gasper's going to the training too. That's awesome, man.
Well, and so speaking of that, get to conventions and do stuff like that. We have PSA coming up in September, and then ASTI will be in Texas next year. Like I leave the 20th, so if you're down in Georgia, I know I'm meeting up with Reggie on the 20th. But if you're down in Georgia, I will be down in Atlanta. I have a health coach convention, and I'm going to get away with 20,000 of my closest friends. But it's good to like go and do that stuff and get recharged and get re-energized. Speaking from someone who just like never did that in their business, it's so vital to do that. Like it is so vital to do that. So if you're in a place where you haven't done it, make that your next priority. Get to PSA, get to United Service, get to something. Get that change of pace, get that change of place, get recharged for sure.
Who's going to PSA? Either of you guys?
I should be there. I'm just trying to dial in the finances, but yeah, I should be there.
I'm thinking I'm
When
going
is
to
it?
be.
Where is that?
I thought you weren't going.
I
thought you
was.
had a.
I still may not. That's why I haven't committed.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you had another commitment that week. So
I have other commitments every other week, and that's why I'm going to go. But I might be going.
Yeah.
Travis, it's in Orlando in September. Have you ever been to a PSA, Travis?
Nope.
Me neither.
I know. I'm getting to.
From my understanding,
I'm finally getting to a point where I can.
From my understanding, it's a lot like ASTI was, but more tech focused.
More tech focused, yeah.
It's not UASA; it's PSA.
Right.
They both exist. They both coexist, and that's okay.
We got to get off. We got a meeting here in just a few minutes, but this has been a fun conversation. I enjoyed and that's why the description says, and wherever this rabbit trail takes us, because we've gone down about 5 different rabbit trails.
You didn't know we were going to talk about HVAC and appliance repair at the same time.
Yeah, well, it was a good talk though. It was a lot of fun. It's always fun to have both of you guys on, especially you, EJ. I haven't chatted with you in quite some time, so well, at least on the air.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, you guys have a good day. Get out there, love some people, and go pursue your dream and help others live theirs. We will catch you tomorrow for Freestyle Friday. Peace out, guys.
Peace.
Yes.